Hello. What's up, everyone? I hope you're all doing well and had a fantastic weekend as usual. Had a pretty long one myself, which is why I was just 15 minutes late, man. Starting with a beautiful introduction. But as usual, if we have anyone in the live chat, could you confirm that we are indeed live and that everything is good, the sound, the video, and so on? But this time, instead of waiting, I think what we'll do is just a quick announcement, since I don't do these often enough. But if you are interested in trading with a 30% discount on Bitunix, you can use our referral code. It's 30% fee discount, no catch. There's no coupon code or anything. It's just a pure discount. What you can do is again sign up with the referral link. It's in the description of this live. And of course, if you want access to our indicator, which is the imbalance indicator, which of course allows me to give you these very accurate support and resistance levels, you can also dive in the description of this live stream and you will find the link to our website right there. Hi Habib, everything is good. Hope you had a great weekend and are ready to enjoy another trading week. Yes, of course. I think this one should be very interesting because if I'm not mistaken, we have the FOMC. I haven't checked yet, so just give me a second. Is the FOMC on Wednesday? So it should be on Wednesday. I literally haven't checked. Yes, it is. So in 3 days. This should be a very interesting trading week, of course. So building a plan today will be very important, as we usually do. But as we've had the confirmation, let's recap everything that happened this week before we dive into today's price action. As usual, it is very important to understand what happened, to understand where we are now. So, we started off the week. Kind of forgot what happened, honestly. Did we do a live last? One sec, guys. I'm sorry, I just got back home. Okay, so now I remember. So in our last stream, I was looking for so I was in a long position last Friday, which was this one. Okay, if this can load. Okay, so we had opened a long position because we had this support level that I was personally waiting for. We had the drop into it, we got the reaction. I opened my long position and we got this very nice bounce to the upside. Okay, so I was in this long position and she priced $109,500. However, when we got the drop and we lost the support level in our live stream, what I wanted to see was this exact plan. It was mainly what I wanted to see first is take out the low at $109,000 to open a new long position and then ride it much higher. And this was also resistance around $112,300. Okay, so we got the move up first. Okay, we got the move up into our level. Forgot if we had a reaction. Yes, now I remember. So we had the 30-minute imbalance on Binance, which is when I opened my short position. We had even more imbalances on Bybit. We had a 30-minute and we had a 1 hour as well. So what I did is simply open a short position. Price went higher first before reversing back down. I took my loss on the short position, but right after this, price ended up reversing to the downside, which was... So let's go on the chart for this one. Man, this live stream has already started off very good. It was this resistance, once again, 112.3. We got this first reaction. I opened my short position. Got this second move up. I closed my short position and then we got the reversal. Okay, so that was not the best exit for my short position. We got the reversal, but after that, price was a bit choppy. But the next day, I got a pretty nice short position because what I wanted to see was a drop into this support to then see if we take it higher or lower. I took my short, we dropped into support. Okay, and even though we had the first reaction, I personally did not like it at all. Okay, so I was in a short position. Man, come on, can you load faster? Okay, so I was in a short position. Wasn't the best reaction, so what I decided to do is hold the short position for much lower prices. We did end up going much lower. We took out the daily low and I did close one of my short positions. Okay, if you open the charts once again, we got a much bigger drop, took out the daily low, and that's when I fully closed one of my short positions. So then after that, unfortunately, we got a reversal to the upside because what I was looking for was still $109,000. We didn't get it. We moved much higher, and then we did an update on YouTube where what I was looking for was a higher low before moving higher. Why is it not loading? But this was a very nice prediction. Okay, so this was our YouTube update. What I want to see once again was a higher low. Okay, that was the first low. I want to see a higher low to then move higher. And what ended up happening, even with the CPI news, we put in a higher low before reversing higher. Personally, I did miss that long position because I decided not to trade the CPI. Kind of unfortunate, I have to admit, because usually I try to move away from news. What I always say is even when you have news, the charts never change. We had this scenario, we had this plan, a higher low, and once again, even with the news, we got the higher low and we got the bounce to the upside. Okay, at this point, of course, even though I had this resistance, I did not believe that the highs were in yet. Okay, so still not in any positions. And then I believe that if we were to put in highs, it would be tomorrow, so on Friday. The next day I woke up, we got this move up and a bit of a rejection on my resistance. Man, Discord is being slow today. So a bit of a rejection on my resistance. Okay, we had that wick that was a bit higher. But then what I did is dived on the lower time frames. We had this support between 114.7, 114.9. This was a very important support to hold. We jumped into it. Okay, so that was on the lower time frames. We jumped into it. We got the reactions. And personally, once again, I called it a week here and I put my stop loss below the lows. What happened after that? We got a very nice pump and then I implemented a take profit one on my long position. And right now I'm still holding that position with a stop loss to entry or just a bit below entry because so my stop loss is around 114.8. That's where my stop loss is. I want to give this long, of course, a bit more room simply because I already took profits on this long position. So with that said, a bit of a long recap and not the most organized one, I will admit, but pretty clear what happened. I mean, what happened this week. Okay, we did have a pretty nice prediction. I shorted right there for a nice job, took profits right here. On this high, we got this higher low. That was a very nice prediction. And then the next day, once again, we had this nice support, which also offered a very nice bounce to the upside. So with all of that said, we've had a bit of a choppy weekend. What can you expect next? Well, the first thing that I want to note is, of course, we have an extremely ugly high on the 4-hour time frame. Why? Because we have no wick at all. When you have a wickless high, usually this is not the best high. It's important to note that on the 12-hour, you do have a wick, and on the daily as well, you do have a wick. However, the 4-hour is still a very important time frame, and as you have no wicks at all, to me, this is a poor high that will get taken out this week, okay? So this is already a bit of a clue on what we can expect, at least on the lower time frames, okay? It will be for this high to get taken out. Now, I did say in my update that if he broke my resistance, which was this one, no, it was this one. Man, I don't know what's happening today with this connection. Okay, so that was my resistance. I did say that if we break above it, I would look for higher prices towards $121,000. Now, for now, I still hold this view. However, it is important to note that we have the CPI, which comes in on Wednesday, and it is hard to see a setup, of course, where we get a very big pump and then a drop into CPI. Okay, this level right now seems a bit too far away for the FOMC, sorry, not the CPI. Okay, it will be a very big event. Everyone is waiting for the rate cuts. So this level is certainly still one that is very strong because we have a 4-hour imbalance. Oh man, this connection is killing me. We have a 12-hour imbalance and we have the midpoint of the daily imbalance. Okay, right there. So this level is still extremely important. But again, as we have the FOMC, I would simply be aware of like that's a very simple first setup that I would mark out. It would be this high, okay? just as right there, I had marked out this liquidity. I'll do the same thing there. So let's put this in dashed. Nothing is working today. That is great. Okay. So now I'm gonna keep this on my chart because it's a pretty interesting referral point. Okay, so the first setup that I would look for to the upside would definitely be to take out these highs and then reverse to the downside. Okay, I think this first setup will be very important to keep an eye on because my expectation would be that on Monday and Tuesday we don't do a whole lot. Okay, because once again we have the FOMC on Wednesday. I am kind of expecting maybe a bit more chop, maybe even take out that low, in which case I will get stopped out of my long, but that's not a problem. We might get a bit more chop before getting into Wednesday. So that's one thing that I have in mind, okay? And that's why maybe if we get a big spike into FOMC, take out that high, and then reverse, I think that this is very possible, of course. Okay, so something like this, I think, would be the first setup to keep an eye on. Okay. Plus, we have, of course, a couple of imbalances. And if I do remember, we did have a point of control there. So if I take it from here to here, we have the point of control just above that high. Okay, so we do have pretty nice confluence on this level. Now, to the downside, my view still remains the same as outlined in the Discord, and which was the logic behind that level, okay, that level. If we lose the midpoint of this 12-hour imbalance, which has held until now, I do believe that we will get the fill of both of the imbalances, so a move down towards $112,200, okay? So to the downside, this would be my support. I don't know if I would like a move down first. I think that's a bit unlikely, and honestly, I wouldn't like it. But it would be interesting for me to find. Okay, so we do have a 4-hour order block. So you can do this instead of a level, since you have an order block. I think that would be my level to the downside. If I take maybe this range. Nope. From here to the low. So I don't have the best confidence on that level for now. Okay, so we do have this big volume profile via yellow. Okay, so that's a pretty interesting level to the downside. And I think that's what I want to outline on my chart today. Are you still as cautious and bearish as last week? Yes, I definitely am. And you can see, by the way, guys, that's very important to note. Even though I was extremely cautious last week, I still got a pretty nice long position and predicted another one that I did not catch, unfortunately, which was this higher low. So even though I am cautious, you can see that even if you are bearish, you can play the longs, and even if you are bullish, you can play the shorts. Okay, the levels remain the same, the support and resistances remain the same, which once again offered a very nice bounce to the upside. So the levels don't change. It's just, of course, a state of mind that I think you should all be aware of, especially for those of you playing spot. Is it the time to get into spot? I'm not sure. I think it's the time to be selling. But in any case, that's just my opinion. So if I want to recap Bitcoin, we have this very interesting level below us, and we have this first liquidity grab above us, which I do believe will get taken out. Okay, we have an ugly high, we have liquidity, we have imbalances, we have the point of control above. Okay, if it can load. Insane what's happening today. I don't understand. I'm sorry guys for the bad connection. I just, it's the first time that's happening. Okay, so we have the point of control above. Okay, so we have a couple of conferences to expect this high to get taken out. And I did say again in my update that if we do break above that resistance, this would be a big sign of strength. So we have broken above it. And yeah, my view on the lower time frames hasn't really changed. I would like to see this high get taken out. So this would be the first setup. take out that high. If you do and you have a lot of imbalances, you have the wicks, you can take the short position. I will be looking for short position to see a reversal to the downside. And of course, we could potentially get something like this, where we drop into support and then we see a bounce to the upside. Or very simply, if I hide this, if we drop first, then at this point I'd be much more interested in the long positions. Why? Because we have this ugly high that I would like to get taken out. So again, if we drop first into the support, you get the imbalances, you get the nice reaction, then I will be interested in the long to take it back up and break back above these two highs. Okay, but once again, final word on Bitcoin, my personal expectation is not that we get the move down first. If we do, it's not a problem. I have already taken profits on my long position, but if we get the move down first, look for the support. But my expectation would be a bit of sideways price action and then potentially a move up. And then from there, of course, we can see what happens. Do we get the imbalances and so on? And of course, by the way, what happened on this high? We had two early imbalances on Bybit. However, on Binance, very important as usual, we had a buying climax. What did we have? We had 3 early imbalances in a row, which, as you know, does represent a buying climax. And actually, very interestingly, what do we have right now? We have 4 early imbalances in a row. So that's a pretty nice conference to expect a bounce. Of course, I'm not opening a long here because 1, you have a double bottom, which I don't like, and 2, of course, I am in a long position from this low. But that would be a nice conference to expect a bounce going into tomorrow, and then you can see if we take out that high or just if we continue on going sideways until Wednesday. Okay, which once again would be my expectation. So buying climax, retracement. Selling climax, retracement potentially. And yeah, that would be it for Bitcoin. Pretty simple. Locally. Below us, I don't have any more levels. Man, this chart is gonna make me go crazy. Okay, so below us, I don't have any more level. You could maybe extend this one to trade it one more time. I wouldn't love it, but I would just be aware of it, okay? If we take out the lows, I don't know if I will enter another long position. I think I've made good profits on this one, and I just want to remain patient for the next trade. So you could extend this support if you want and trade around it, but personally I would keep it for there. And below us, around $112,400 will be a big support that you have to hold. Above us, the first potential area of reversal will be above that high, $117,400. You could definitely take out that high, see a buying climax, just as we did on Binance, and then see a reversal to the downside. Of course, if you move higher, this would still be a very big resistance and could still offer a very nice short position. However, if you break above it, then very logically at this point, you should expect a new all-time high. Okay. So if you have any questions, as usual, leave them in the live chat. But now let's move on over to Ethereum. Now, my plan on Ethereum, unfortunately, didn't hit. I didn't trade any of it because, as you know, I don't trade a lot of altcoins, but I was looking for a job to take out that low, to then see a rise. We didn't take out that low, but it is something pretty interesting to note. We have too many lows right there, in my opinion. Plus, if you remember, on the higher time frames, what do we have below? We have a very ugly low on ETH. Okay, so we have a wickless daily low. We have a wickless 12-hour low. Brother, what's happening today? I'm gonna break something, guys. Okay, we have a wickless 12-hour low, and we have a wickless 4-hour low. If this chart can freaking load. This is yeah, this is I don't know. I'm actually getting annoyed. And you have a wickless daily low. Let me do something 1 second. Okay, and you have a wickless 4-hour low. Okay, so this is an extremely ugly low. Now, adding to this, we have too many lows around there, in my opinion. So on the higher time frames, all of this area will definitely be a magnet to liquidity. So even though we didn't reject my level, I still believe that this, you should be very cautious around these highs, especially that we had an imbalance that got recovered. Did we have one on the 12 hour? We didn't. On the daily, we didn't. So on the 12 hour and the daily, we didn't really have any imbalances, so we could maybe get one more high. It's a hard one on Ethereum. Definitely had the 12-hour order block, which was this one, but on its own, it's not a very confluent level. If you break something, can you film it for the live stream? Yeah, okay, I will. That would be some content. Can definitely break stuff when I'm angry, so I need to remain calm. But okay, so on Ethereum, it's not the highest volume high, so that would be something to note. I will note it to potentially play the fact that we maybe get a certain reversal to the upside. Okay. That's not the best plan, I have to admit. I think this was a very good level, and I am surprised that we didn't have any reaction. But if you can take the high one more time, I think that would be super nice. If you can take the high with a 4-hour imbalance, that would be good enough. But ideally, if you can get a 12-hour imbalance at the highs, I think that would be perfect for a longer term high. And then, as mentioned, take it back down to take out this ugly low, because this ugly low, in my opinion, will get taken out at some point. Okay, so that would be it for Ethereum. I have to admit, it's not the most solid plan, because once again, that was my big level, $4,600. I'm gonna remove it because it didn't get respected. But yeah, I'm not gonna put an alert because it's still a bit far away. But let me just fix the daily open. And if we take out that high with 12-hour imbalance, probably look to short Ethereum. Why would you like for ETH to be live into other coins? But it is starting to get annoying. In any case, we didn't have a 12-hour imbalance. We had a very big. Yeah, this one held, of course, actually, of that daily imbalance, if you see. Perfect retest of that daily imbalance before moving higher, but you know, when you have such a big move into the all-time high, you get a swing failure pattern, and you recover the imbalances, even though it did hold. No, that's why I personally see it as a decent high, especially on the 4-hour. You have two imbalances, so it's a decent high, not the best one, but look, if you take it out, I wouldn't mind it, because once again, I am in a long on Bitcoin, so if Ethereum moves higher, it probably means that Bitcoin would move higher as well. So if it does move higher, I still believe that this will be a very big area. Okay, so which was around $5,300. But it's just a nice reaction, you know. You have a nice wick, you have nice imbalances. I just think it's a decent high. It's not the most confident view, I have to admit. I could still see higher prices too. I wouldn't mind it. Okay, but it's a decent reaction to expect an all-time high there. The connection just became very laggy. Uh, is it better now? Is it better now? I'll just wait. I'm sorry guys for today. It's again, it's the first time this has happened. It's kind of annoying, I have to be honest. Uh, if it's getting too laggy, then we'll just have to do a recap on Bitcoin and end it there. But I'd like to cover some more altcoins. Could anyone confirm that the live is okay? Right? If I move a bit, maybe, I don't know. Looks like it's better now. Okay. So I'll wait and see. Um, give me a second. And today is something. That is something. Okay. I started the live again and it had to, well, I hope it did. Okay, so we'll continue on from here. If I get more lags, I'm gonna end it, man. Break. Break. Okay. So, can you do AVAX, Hype, ICP, and Penguin, bro? Of course. So, AVAX. Let's go over to AVAX first. Okay, I hope it's better now. Kind of had this on, unfortunately. Brother, please. Okay. So. Okay. Now I'd remove this. That is a nice move. Take the midpoint. 27.7, that would be your first level, but I want to see if I can find confluence. To the upside, definitely that would be your first target, the fill of this daily imbalance at 32. So let's go on the weekly. Oh, you have a weekly imbalance as well. Where's that midpoint? Could be close. Yeah, it's just a bit below. That would be a very, very, very nice area. So 27.1, let's mark this out. The 3-day, I don't think I care about this one. 12-hour, that would be around, yep, I think you have a very good area below. I just need to find a bit of confluence. So this should be your area just around, so in the 27s, basically, that would be your area. You have a bit of a volume gap right there, so that is a very nice confluence. How about from here? Volume gap as well. Or from here, do we have a higher time frame range? Is the live still okay, guys, by the way? I hope it is. Okay, so I think I just have the volume, yep, I just have the volume ledge as confluence, but this is still a very nice confluence. So on AVAX, that would be your area. Let me mark it out for you. From, let's take this order block to, let's go like this 27.5 a bit more. Okay, that would be a psychological level on the lower time frames. So this should be your support on AVAX. I think this should be a very strong one. And what I would expect, if that could play out, is if you can drop into it, I think, and you get a good reaction, of course, I think this could offer a very nice trade to get the fill of the daily imbalance at $32. Live is okay? Okay, thanks. So I think that would be a very nice setup for AVAX. I like it. I like it. So that would be it for AVAX. Of course, if you move up first, and then come down, then of course at this point this long would be much more ugly because you don't have this target anymore, okay? And that's why I would like higher it's to fill this daily imbalance, okay? But I do believe that this has a very decent chance of paying out. Jump into this area, 27.5 towards $27 exactly, okay? Then you can get that reversal. Hype, ICP, and Penguin. By Penguin, do you mean Pengu? Is that what you mean by Penguin? Would that be Pangu? I could get a confirmation, Cairo. Okay, then in the meantime, I'll do hype and I see. Yes, bro. Okay. So Pangu, 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 Pangu. The weekly has got the daily 12-hour. That is a nice level. That would be your first level. Let's look at the volume profile. You have any confluence there? Yep, that is a much nicer level. If you could get, that's a daily as well, right? Yup. Okay, so that's an extremely strong level. Your first one, I will put this in dash because that would be a weaker one. Okay, that would be a weaker level. Let me look at one last thing. This anchored view up has been hit probably. Yeah, so it's not as interesting, this one. Okay, so ooh, that was hit right there. Okay, so that one has been tapped, but you can see if you don't trade anchored VWAPs, this was a very nice support. You can see you take it from that low, that was a high volume low. Why a high volume low? You have a daily imbalance, so that offered a very nice low. So I would say that Pangu probably has to remain above these lows to look good. If you lose these lows, I would say this coin would look much weaker at this point, and you probably don't want to trade it anymore until you get the reclaim. But what I think looks very nice for now on the lower time frames, definitely. Let's go on the 4 hour. That would be your first level, tradable level, 0.032. Okay, it's a bit of a weaker level than the second one, but still a good level. The second one, which is much stronger in my opinion, but would need a much bigger drop. Okay, so is it likely to get such a big drop? I don't know. You'll have to see. But it would be a much stronger level, 0.0306. Think this one, if you reach it and you get a good reaction, then this could offer a very, very nice long position. Okay, so 2 levels on Pangu, one that's a bit weaker, super reaction dependent, and the second one where you could look to be a bit more aggressive on. Okay, so that would be it for Pangu. Then what you want is Hype and ICP. Hype USDT. Doesn't look like my connection is getting better, but frick, what can you do? Don't like the spot. Why is that Binance US? And I would avoid these coins which are not listed on let's look at this one. Okay, is that the coin? $54. If you could confirm, Cairo, that this is hype. I don't know this coin. Definitely looks very impulsive. That's a good sign. I can instantly see your first support. Very small area. It's a daily as well. That's a very nice area. And you have a bit of an order block there. That's a very nice order block. I think that would be your support. I just need to find confluence as usual. Volume profile. Let's look at this one. Okay, you have the value area high there. Okay, so that would be your level on hype. Plus you have the $50 psychological level. Okay, so this is around $50. So hype again, if you could drop into that level, but it will be very reaction dependent because it's not the best confluence on it, I have to admit. But again, if you drop into it, I wouldn't be aggressive with that. I would wait for a good reaction. Then, of course, you could look for that bounce higher on hype. Okay, yes, so that was the coin. And then you wanted ICP as well. So the best setup for now, at least in my opinion, would be AVAX, Cairo. If you're interested in which setup I'm the most confident in, it would be AVAX. Okay, so ICP, man, this coin, yeah, doesn't look good, man. Wow, like, what's this? Nike. I mean, there's not much I can do on this. Just take. Yeah. No, it's not a good coin. It's not a good coin. We did have these multiple highs right there that got taken out with a 4-hour imbalance. I mean, not with a 4-hour imbalance on the rejection, but maybe when it was up there, it was already a 4-hour imbalance. So maybe it actually was. Let's go on the 1 hour. I'm interested. Yup, you had the 1 hour imbalance on that high. So you had these ugly highs taken out with imbalances. I think that's a good high, man. So I wouldn't look at this coin, to be honest. I mean, that's a good high. You had the imbalances. This liquidity got taken out. For now, I would dismiss that coin. But if you're looking for a level, you do have. Was that tapped? Oof. Yeah, it was almost tapped. So you could look for this one, but that's not a good level. I'll be honest, that's not a good level. You could look for this level, which was not tapped on this drop, as you can see. But again, that's not a good level. So I would dismiss this coin if you're very convinced about it. is what I'm trying to say. Okay, you could look at this level, but again, it's not a good one in my opinion. It's just not a good level, I'll be honest. Why? Because you just have so many lows, and even though it didn't get hit to the dollar, I mean, you still had the daily order block combined with a daily imbalance, and you can see that this is where this coin found support once, twice, 3 times before offering that big bounce, took that liquidity, and then reversed lower. So in context, to me, this coin looks pretty bearish. Okay, so best setup in my view would definitely be AVAX. Where is it? Right there. That would be AVAX. I think that would be your best setup. Talking about best setups, of course, ENA. Our support definitely came in clutch. I mean, again, this setup was shared. So 1 month ago, exactly, this setup was shared 1 month ago. We got the drop, we got the first bounce, we got the second drop, second bounce, third drop, third bounce. I mean, if you only traded the first bounce and then not the rest, that was still an amazing 24% bounce. If you traded these other bounces, that was an amazing 42% drop on ENA. So very good setup on this one. Very happy that it played out. Aave, we did have a support. I did take a look at it quickly. Was it Aave? Yeah, it was. Yeah. So it did end up holding my support, which I did not expect. I do remember talking about this coin. I did say that I didn't love the fact that it retested my support, but in the end, I was actually wrong, and that was still the first bounce. If you just traded that first bounce, which we shared, 10%, that's still very good, and that was actually the biggest bounce. So yeah, it still held that support, but yeah, the first bounce looked to be the strongest one. Thank you, bro. I'll keep my eye on these levels. Thank you for asking the questions. Can you look at Sol and Dodge? Definitely. Let's look at. I mean, Solana, it just doesn't want to pull back. That's what I've taken from this coin. I mean, I was waiting for that pullback, it didn't come. I was waiting for that level, it didn't come. This one below, so yeah, this one didn't play out. Probably you look for a new all-time high. I mean, you do have this order block. You could mark it out. Let me see very quickly. That's a 3-day order block. Let's go on the daily. Yeah, you do have this daily order block. Do you have a 12-hour imbalance? That would be important for me. You don't have an imbalance, so not the strongest level on Solana, but that would be a resistance definitely. Plus, you are moving up with. You just have one imbalance, which is not a big problem actually. So for now, Solana looks good. Looks good. You just have one imbalance, so it's no buying climax yet. But you are moving into that resistance. Okay, if you move into it with a daily or a 12-hour imbalance, then of course you could look for that bigger drop lower. I think that's possible on Solana. Can I remove this because this did not play out? Okay. But overall, we on this coin, I just called the low. So we had this level. I just called the low, and after that, it didn't really retest any of my levels, which was kind of unfortunate. I had 3 other levels, but I just ended up calling the low. I mean, which is good, of course, but I would have liked to call a bit more lows. Okay. So Solana, yeah, you probably move into that resistance and see what happens. If you break it, probably like it's gonna break $300. Do you think Sol can make a new all-time high? It just so I just said it. It just depends on that resistance. Break it, of course. I think you move higher. You have this pretty ugly wick that could get filled, but reject it. It will depend on Bitcoin as well. We go back to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin takes a big dump on the FOMC, okay, if you get that liquidity grab and you get a big dump, then of course I would say that Ethereum would be done. And we still have that low on Ethereum that I am expecting to get taken out. So it's just a matter of time. Do you reach this target before dropping, or was this the high before dropping? As I said, personally, I'm being cautious. Okay. Yeah. So can Solana make a new all-time high again? One, it will depend on Bitcoin, but two, more importantly, of course, it will depend on that resistance, which comes in just above it. from $250 to $255. Okay, so $5 area. And thank you, by the way, guys, for liking the live today. We have 5 likes, so I'll take it. Usually we don't have 5 likes, so it's not a lot, but hey, something. And look, we are extremely accurate on Bitcoin and on some altcoins as well. So yep. Oh, and you wanted Dodge as well. My bad. Let's look at Dodge. Again, this one didn't hit my support. Frick. Yeah, this one looks good. I think Dodge looks good. Oof, you almost got the fill of that daily right there. I mean, I would kind of consider it filled because that was such a big move up with 2 daily imbalances. So you have filled this daily imbalance on Dodge, so I would be cautious. Plus you had 3 12-hour imbalances. That's a buying climax, as you know. I think that was the move for now, and you want to be cautious on it. Doesn't mean it cannot go higher, but it just means for the long positions, they were down here, of course. And where did we hold support? Did we? Perfect. Where did we hold support, guys? Guess what? 12-hour imbalance. You came back down, filled it to the sand, and then you got that big bounce to the upside. So, again, imbalances, as you can see, I mean, you guys know on Bitcoin how many accurate levels I share, so you can see even on altcoins, perfect fill of this 12-hour before getting that move higher. So once again, I do believe that the longs were down there. So yeah, do you want to long this coin up here? I don't think it's the best decision. I do not think it's the best decision. Let me see if we have something right there. That's a nice order block. No, we are below the imbalances. No, that's not a great level. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't see much on Dodge. I think once again, unfortunately, I mean not unfortunately, if anyone was trading the imbalances, that was a very easy trade to take. You took out these lows. Did you have a 4-hour imbalance at the lows? You did. You had the 4, you had 2 imbalances at the lows. That is very nice, and then you got the reversal higher. So yeah. Can you take a look at the S&P? Of course, we can take a look at the S&P. I mean, that's what I said before. There is not much to do on the S&P. It's just moving up. Like, what do you want me to say? We probably still have bearish divergences, but I mean, I don't know. Do you want to give these so much importance? Not really. Plus, actually, the RSI has made a new high, so you are kind of seeing a bit more momentum come in. It's not the best signal, but something to note. It's not something to note. You don't have any gaps. Not much to say on the. Let me look at something. Actually, we could definitely look at something. I don't know if you looked at this before. And there is another pocket that I could look for. Yeah, this one is much higher. Oof, 7,000? I don't know. That's. Let me look at something else. It's not the log scale. Okay, so that would be a first resistance. Is it the best one? I mean, it would make sense to pull back from here. That's all I would say. It doesn't mean that you want to look for shorts, of course. But we are heading into the FOMC. That is a first resistance area. I much prefer the golden pocket, which as you can see I had right there. And guess what? We moved into it and you got a very nice rejection. I mean, that was for this entire uptrend, the biggest rejection was on the golden pocket. Okay, so the golden pocket, of course, is always the strongest, but that would be a first one. where again, going into the FOMC, you could maybe get a pullback right here. Like again, it would make sense to get a pullback right here. What about your stocks? I did sell AMD, but I am holding the rest. Okay, we can open the charts. Brother, please. Okay. So I have sold AMG just because we got that pullback, and when we took that low, okay, I sold it. But on my other stocks, I still have strengths. I mean, on Sophie, this one looks extremely strong, so I haven't taken any profits on this one. And Robinhood as well. I mean, this one doesn't look like it wants to stop. So once again, until we lose certain lows for my stocks, there's no need to take profits. And PayPal, has it moved? PayPal? No, it still hasn't moved. So PayPal still hasn't moved. Okay. So this one, if it drops, I'll look to buy more probably. But yeah, for the other stocks, I have sold a bit of half of AMD, not a bit, half. But Sophie and Robinhood I am holding. Okay. But that's it for my stocks. It's very simple. When do you consider selling your silver? Probably like I am expecting a new all-time high on silver. The last time we talked about it, the chart looked, yeah, this looks very impulsive. So probably wait for a new all-time high before selling anything. And when you make a new all-time high, you want to see what happens. Do you have strengths and continuation? In which case you want to hold. Because man, the last all-time high was a while ago. That was in 2011. So 15 years ago. So when you break this high, you could either get fireworks, okay, and a big move up, or you could get a fake out and a big dump lower. I am leaning more towards like a big pump simply because this high was put in such a long time ago. Okay, so silver, there's no point in selling right now, at least in my view. Let me look at something as well. How is that stock doing? Yeah, it's starting to move up. That's a silver stock as well, so it's nice to see it move up. Yeah, silver, I don't know, I wouldn't sell any soon. Okay. So have we covered everything? BNB, this one, not much. Hold on, we covered it. XRP. It's been a while since I've looked at XRP, so maybe we can take a look at it and see if I have anything. This low, I mean, I will say this low, I don't think anyone on social media had this level, okay? I literally think we were the only people to have this level, 1.65, and this ended up offering the low. So that's all I'm gonna say on XRP. You have a daily imbalance up here. You have rejected the bottom of this one. I don't know. I still don't see anything interesting on XRP. You did have, of course, a daily imbalance on this low, which again, as you can see, when you wait for the daily imbalances, you didn't have one daily imbalance until the low. Then you got that reversal. And guess what? You had the daily imbalance, you got a bit of a pullback. So, but for now, I'll be honest, I'm interested in trading XRP at some point, but not right here, maybe. Take a look at Litecoin. This one's still not much. Link. I would really like lower on Link. I would really like lower on Link. If you can get towards $18, I think this can offer a very nice long position still. But you can see that this resistance ended up offering a very good rejection. So for now, this plan is playing out nicely. Even though we are bouncing a bit in between. There's no other coins, bro. I mean, yeah, this one has bounced. Yeah, so there's no other coins that I want to cover, I think. That was it. The best setup that we've covered today, in my opinion, would be AVAX. Okay, I think that's a very interesting level. But apart from that, I think most altcoins are looking in a, like, they're in a no trade zone right now. That's how I would look at it. Okay. When do you think you will be buying spot again? Can be anything. When we get a crash, that's only when I buy. When you get big drops, that's when you buy. And investing is really that simple. Most people make investing extremely complicated, but trust me, investing is extremely easy. When you find the right asset, all you have to do is wait for a dip. I mean, even on Bitcoin, you can take Bitcoin. It's a good asset. If you bought Bitcoin every time it dipped 30%, let's call it, okay, you would always have made great returns. Okay, I mean, it's very simple to invest in assets, guys. Just don't buy when prices are up. Okay, if you buy when prices are up, I don't know what to tell you. It's the, at least in my opinion, it's the stupidest thing one can do. Buy when prices are up. When prices are down, this is when you want to buy. When you see the daily imbalances, of course, if any investor wants to use imbalances, the daily imbalances can be extremely powerful in calling bottoms. Guess what happened right there? No daily imbalance, no daily imbalance. There is your daily imbalance, which offered the low for a reversal to the upside. Okay. So I buy spot again when we get a big drop. And will Bitcoin drop at some point? Of course, I do believe that Bitcoin will get a drop at some point back below $100,000. Do we get another all-time high before it and then drop? Honestly, I don't really care because in between I am trading. Once again, what did we do on Friday? Very easy support level. You open a long position, you take it higher. Even sometimes, of course, you take losses, but you keep the losses. Where is it? You keep the losses smaller than the wins. Okay, so about spot, yeah, I mean, just wait for a crash. It's very simple. Just wait for a crash. Will the crash come? The crashes always come. Okay, I mean, we literally had, it's not really a crash, but you had a very nice retracement. I mean, a couple of months ago. How long ago was that? 5 months ago. Nothing. You had a big drop 5 months ago. And guess what happened on Ethereum? And that was for spot. Of course, I was looking to trade it on 1290. I missed my long position, but for any spot buys, this was still an amazing buy, even though it didn't reach support. When you buy spot, you don't have to wait for the support to get reached, of course. You can be much more lenient because you don't have leverage. But if you waited for this, guess what? That was an amazing return. And guess what's happening right now? Some people are buying Ethereum at the highs. Are these people smart? I mean, it's not about being smart or not. It's just about being patient. Are these people disciplined and patient? They're not disciplined at all. They have zero discipline. Anyone that buys Ethereum, any asset at all-time highs has zero discipline. Okay, so it's your choice of what type of trader or investor you want to be. It's literally your choice. What do you think about real estate? I mean, it's a very safe investment. There's not much else to say. Whether it's real estates or how do you say in English, like buying land. You can buy land as well, which is also pretty safe. At least in my view. It's in my view. But I think that would be it for this live stream. If you don't have any more questions, I think we've gone on for long enough, almost 1 hour, and we did have the worst connection as well at the start. So I will repeat for anyone that's new, if you want to trade with a 30% discount on Bitunics, we do have a referral link which should be available in the description. It's literally a 30% fee discount for a lifetime. So if you want to go for it, of course the link is in the description. And if you are interested in trading the imbalances, which allow me to give you these very accurate levels and these very accurate predictions, of course these will be available in our website, which is also linked in the description down below. How do you learn discipline as a trader? Honestly, so you have two ways to go about it. That could be interesting to talk about, and maybe we can end on it. So what we'll do, guys, is a recap on Bitcoin, and then I will answer this question. And if you don't have any more questions, then I will end the live there. But let's recap Bitcoin first, and then cover this question, which is pretty important, of course, and then we can end the live. Okay. So on Bitcoin, what do we have above us? We have an extremely ugly high. this will get taken out in my opinion. So that's why this week we can look for higher prices. What do we have above this high? We have liquidity, we have imbalances, and we have the point of control of this prior range that was broken, okay? So this is a very interesting level to take because of all of these reasons, and that's why you could expect a bounce to the upside. Ideally, what I would like to see, or at least what I'm expecting, would be chop until the FOMC on Wednesday. So again, we can even take out these lows, in which case I did say I would get stopped out on my long position, okay, but I don't mind getting stopped out because once again I took profits. So I would expect a bit of chop, which is why we could drop first, then come back up, then go sideways, then maybe move up on the FOMC, take these highs, and then we can see what happens. Do we get imbalances? Do we get a buying climax? Or do we move higher in this much bigger and more interesting level that, of course, could still offer a short position? Personally, as usual, I don't use limit orders. Why? Because you want to trade the reactions. On the other hand, if you do drop first, this will be an extremely important support in my opinion. So if you do drop first, this could offer a nice long position for a reversal higher. Okay. So that's mainly it for Bitcoin. For altcoins, on Ethereum today, I don't have the best setup. I do have to admit I don't have the best setup. Maybe if we take that high with 4-hour imbalances, this would be a very interesting high. But again, if that was the high, personally, I didn't predict it. Not a big problem, but I'm making good money on Bitcoin. So Ethereum, not much to note, except that on the higher time frames, you still have this ugly low, which will get taken out at some point in my opinion. So that is something to note. And then the best coin that we have covered today, if anyone is interested, was, where is it? AVAX. I think that's an interesting support level. So if it can get reached, this could offer a nice bounce if you get nice reactions. So with that said, let's cover our last question. How do you find discipline as a trader? Well, you have multiple ways to go about it. The most common way, which I think is needed at some point, is that you simply have to lose money. Like, you don't have to lose money because you want to lose money, but you will not learn discipline as long as you don't lose enough money. The only reason that I got to the point where I am extremely patient is because I've lost a lot of money in the past and I just don't want to do it again. Not just because of the money itself, but because of the mindset. Like, I just don't like opening stupid positions, losing money, and then over trading, getting pissed off, losing sleep over and over again. So as I did this over and over again in the past, like today, I got to the point where I'm just not interested in doing this anymore because I did so much in the past. And that's why right now, I just love to remain patient. I love seeing the market move without me into a support or into a resistance. Seeing the volume traded there, which means that people are shorting, I long into them, and then I get my profits back, okay? Being patient, taking big positions, and getting the right trade to me right now is the best feeling you can get as a trader. Again, it's not even for the money, it's just because I love trading, okay? Once again, I love being patient because I got wrecked in the past. I don't want to get wrecked again, and because I love it. So the first way to learn discipline is to lose a lot of money. This is simply a learning curve that everyone will go through, okay? No one will enter trading and not blow up their first trading account. I think that's impossible. Now, the second way to learn, which is much harder because you need a certain learning curve, will be to learn from someone else who is already disciplined, okay? And makes profit and makes good predictions. But the problem with this approach is that if you haven't lost the money yourself, if you do make a lot of money by following someone else, you will very probably get to a point where you might lose all of that money, okay? Let's say that you followed someone and even made $100,000. It will be very easy for you to lose this $100,000 because you didn't have the discipline to make this money yourself. So when you followed someone else, it's not really you being patient, finding the right trades, doing the right thing. It's just you following someone else. So if one day the person you followed maybe took a loss, maybe he's not here, or maybe you just went rogue. If one day you just got pissed off for whatever reason, it will be very easy for you to lose a lot of money. That's why this second approach, it can work, okay? So when you follow someone else that's profitable, it can work. But in my opinion, on the long term, if you want to be a trader, you will simply lose money at first. And that's just how it goes, okay? So is it easy to do? It's not easy to do, and that's why most people quit. But guess what? People go to uni and pay $50,000 for degrees. What you can do in the market is lose much less money and learn much more. You can lose $10,000, for example, but learn an insane lot and then make much more than $10,000 because you have learned a lot. So you could look at it, I mean, you should look at it, in my opinion, in the sense where you are paying the market to teach you a lesson. And that's how I look at it. When I take a loss, I paid the market to learn a lesson. Okay. Of course, you don't want to do this over and over again, because then you're not learning a lesson. Okay, that's very important to note. And that's why you have to journalize and backtest. But I mean, I hope I've explained it easy enough. Mainly you have two paths. You can follow someone else, which on the long term, okay, that's very important. On the long term, you will not probably, but you will likely lose all of the profits that you made because you don't have the discipline to lose money and not get emotional. Okay, that's if you follow someone else. Second way is to learn yourself, learn from someone else, but then take the trades yourself. Okay, and that's why personally what you will see is that I don't really send signals. Okay, so when you reach my level, for example right here, I just say support is holding, and I believe that holding this level is crucial. Now, before leaving, I did say that I put my stop loss around, so that's kind of a signal. But I don't love to send signals because I don't believe that on the long term it's super helpful to you guys. Okay, if you want to make a lot of money on the long term, you shouldn't be following signals, in my opinion. Okay, so okay, so if you are in the first path and you're losing money, don't worry, okay? Every single person lost money when they started. If you want to read the book, that person helped me a lot. To be, why did it not type? Market Wizards. I don't know if you've read this book. I forgot who wrote it. Let me check for you one sec. Market Wizards. I think you should read this book. Personally, I think that every single trader should read this book. Okay, so Market Wizards by Jack G. Schwager. This book to me was extremely interesting and extremely helpful for my mindset as a trader. So I think if you are still losing money, this book will be extremely important to you. Market Wizards. So I think every single person should read this book. For me, that's my favorite book in trading. So yeah, if you haven't read it, I think you should read it. To me, it has helped me a lot. When do you make a podcast? When do you make a podcast about ITV? What do you mean by that? When do you make a podcast about ITV? I don't understand the question. What's ITV and what do you mean by I make a podcast? What? Oh, when do you make when do you make a podcast about it? I just saw a podcast about what? Thank you for the book recommendation. No problem. It's a very good book. Very good book. Especially for your mindset. At least to me, it was extremely helpful. Yeah, so a podcast about what? I didn't really understand your question. Mm-mm-mm. So I think we'll end the live there. Okay, yapping about trading. I don't know, I should do it sometimes. I think we'll do. That's that's a bit of a longer term plan, but we might make a podcast with the Rami. Okay, me and him just talk about trading. I think that would be very interesting. Uh, so yeah, but that's a bit of a longer term plan, and he's an amazing trader, by the way. So uh, yeah, I don't I don't know when that would be a thing because I'm not the biggest podcast guy. I don't like to talk for too long. You might not know it, but yeah. Sometimes I feel like I yap too much. And that's why my YouTube updates are so quick because I just like to get to the point. I don't like to waste your time. Everyone's time should be valuable. So when so when someone makes an update on YouTube about 50 minutes, that's not an update by the way. That's a live stream, so that's an exception, of course. Mm, 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 mm. So okay, I think that should be it. I've had a bit of fun even though the connection was so bad, and thank you guys for staying even though I had such a bad connection at the start. It was pretty annoying for me, so I can't imagine how annoying it was for you as a viewer. But we were still able to make it through it. Okay. Once again, guys, if you're wondering, I am still in my long position. If we take the lows, so be it. I'll take the stop loss at entry and move on to my next trade. But this week should be extremely interesting because you have the FOMC on Wednesday. Uh, so yeah, I think thank you for okay. So I think that's it for the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for liking the live. I do really appreciate it. Thank you for all the questions. So as usual, I do hope that you all enjoyed your weekend. I hope you spend a great rest of the weekend. And as usual, I hope that we all have a profitable trading week ahead. So see you tomorrow morning inside the Discord. If you guys want to join our server, it is free and the link should be in the description. If it is not, just go over to our Twitter. It will be there. So yeah, again, thank you everyone, and see you tomorrow.